What's ironic is that, remember, like, I don't know, Jason, would you say like maybe 10 to 15 years ago, where people like the rule about releasing horror films is never release it in the summertime? Like that was like, no. Summer was only strictly for big budget tentpole films. But I think a lot of this is contributed to the fact that the audience is changing, and I do think younger audience today really gravitate to the horror genre. It really speak to them, and it's always been popular, it's always been around. But what I discovered with The Conjuring was that if you make a movie that people wants to see, and if you make a film that connects with people, it kind of doesn't really matter what time of the year you release it. I do think there's an art to releasing the film, but I really think the landscape of cinema has shifted so much in recent years that you can now release horror movies in the summertime and compete with the big films.
I completely agree with what James said, and I think it makes sense. The audiences for horror movies is largely a younger audience. A lot of them are in school, they're out of school. So I don't know why it's true. When James and I started making these movies, no one wanted to put them in the summer. I have no idea why, because they certainly work for that audience. Is available in the summer. They're available 7 days a week as opposed to really 2 nights, and it's proved a great time to release horror movies. I think one of the other reasons is that there's so many now superhero big movies, and the audience needs some alternative to that, at least for a couple weekends of the 8-10 summer weekends, and horror movies provide an alternative to those types of movies.
Well, I think the fan kind of like crossover, right? The fandom between the two worlds kind of crossover, and it is interesting that a lot of the horror directors have gone on to make superhero movies. A lot of us have kind of crossed over to make superhero films. I think the storytelling aspect of it is what we gravitate to, and we tell stories that are kind of very heightened, in the horror genre, but then we get to do it again in the superhero genre, and I do think that they kind of complement each other pretty well in some respect.